So, in this segment, we're going to be talking about non Irish EU citizens will need travel clearance to cross the Ireland to Northern Ireland border under new UK plan. And we're going to talk about why that this thing doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. So, non-Irish citizens living in Ireland will have to apply for online pre-travel clearance from the UK in order to cross the border under proposed new immigration laws. Under the Nationality and Borders Bill, they'll be required to apply for a US-style visa waiver known as an Electronic Travel Authorization (ETA) before entering the UK, including when crossing the land border into Northern Ireland. It will also apply to citizens of the EEA living here, which includes people from Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland. So, essentially non-Irish citizens. So, non-British or Irish citizens from other countries outside the EU/EEA, which previously did not require a visa to enter the UK, will now need an ETA. The bill is part of a wider post-Brexit overhaul of the UK's immigration laws and includes provisions on asylum seekers, nationality and immigration controls, which is going to do nothing to deter asylum seekers entering the UK via Ireland, because that doesn't make any sense. Asylum seekers don't go there to cross into GB. He played down. This is from Stephen Farley, I believe. Says he played down the political impact of the change, describing the ETA as a simple online fill-in form, and once you've done it, you can fairly easily renew it as well. But again, it's just added bureaucracy for the sake of it. Those who needed the form, he said, would probably get used to the idea they would need to apply for something in terms of the UK, but we have the common travel area. Like, this doesn't make sense. Belfast-based human rights organisation, the Committee on the Administration of Justice, warned the new rules would create a hard border for people who had previously enjoyed the freedom of movement between Northern Ireland and Ireland, and would have a particular impact on those living in border areas, because you're still going to need to prove you've got an ETA. So someone somewhere is going to have to check you've got that waiver, otherwise it's pointless. Daniel Holder, Deputy Director of the committee, said on the basis of the current practice, we would worry that there would be selective enforcement by the UK Border Force on the basis of racial discrimination, because they're going to have their own idea of who looks Irish and who doesn't, and the ones who don't look very Irish are the ones who are going to get checked predominantly. So the scheme is due to come into effect in 2025, but it's unclear how it will be enforced and how much it will cost and how long an application will take, probably forever, knowing the Home Office. Mr. Farry raised concerns about the practicalities for people in border communities of having to apply in advance for the document and the difficulties of raising awareness about the scheme so that people did not unwittingly break the law. Travel between Ireland and the UK is protected by an agreement to maintain the common travel area by the two countries agreed in 2019. Government sources said that while the British government had been keen to maintain the existing common travel area for Irish citizens, much of the rationale for Brexit was about controlling immigration and blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, xenophobia. So if we look at the specifics here at Google Maps, right? Actually, do you know what? We'll talk about a bit more first, which is that Ireland is not part of the Schengen area, so anyone going into Ireland would have their passport checked. And the common travel area, let's see, bear with me, there it is, based on agreements that are not legally binding, the internal borders of the common travel area are subject to minimal controls, if any, and can normally be crossed by British and Irish citizens with minimal identity documents with certain exceptions. So if we actually look at the actual border, right, so anyone coming in from Ireland via an EU country would be checked because Ireland is not part of Schengen. So that means you need your passport to be checked. Asylum seekers coming from France won't go to Ireland because the distance is too great. It's too far. Because if you look here, right, this is the gap people are coming across, Calais to Dover, right? That's really tiny in comparison to, say, someone's going from, Brest all the way to Ireland in order to then travel through to Northern Ireland to get to GB. It doesn't make any sense. So this idea that it's going to help control borders is nonsensical. It's absolutely nonsensical. And who's going to enforce it? Because you're going to have to check somewhere for non-EU citizens, especially given the fact that Ireland has freedom of movement for goods. So lorry drivers still wouldn't be against taking a route into Northern Ireland. EU drivers, I say EU drivers, sort of non-Irish EU drivers probably wouldn't object to that route because there aren't any customs checks or anything like that. So they're going to get checked. They're going to need this ETA if they're going into Northern Ireland, which means it's going to put them off that route. This thing doesn't make any sense, and it's just going to flame tensions more within Northern Ireland and Ireland. It's so pointless, because someone somewhere is going to have to check. Say if you're going from this area, say Dundalk, right, and you're going to Newry, and you're a non-Irish EU citizen, when are you going to get checked? Because if you're not going to get checked, this thing's pointless and a waste of money. But if you are going to get checked, essentially someone's going to have to check your papers. So effectively, that you are putting a border in place, whether that border isn't here where the line's drawn, but it's here where someone's going to check you in this area. It doesn't make any sense, honestly. When I first heard about this, I didn't really understand what the issue was, but the more you kind of understand it, the more stupid this thing is. Because how many people are actually trying to get to GB illegally via Northern Ireland? Probably not many. Not many at all, because it's a stupid route to take if that's what you're planning on doing. Asylum seekers aren't going to take that route. Look at Ireland. It's more closed off from Europe in the sense of geography. Look how far it is from everywhere else. So this thing doesn't make any sense, and all they're doing is going to inflame further tensions between, between England and EU members, especially Ireland. They've given no information about how this thing's going to be enforced, how much it's going to cost or anything. It's just going to put people off going to Ireland, because even Irish citizens will be checked, because you're going to have to prove that you're an Irish citizen going into Northern Ireland. Because this whole thing, then otherwise it doesn't make sense, because how do you know if someone's an Irish citizen unless you ask them for papers? But, the common travel area, it looks like it exists. One of the reasons why is to kind of lower tensions between Ireland and Northern Ireland, and to make it feel like there's less of a border in that area. But by doing this, they are kind of putting up a stealth border. But no doubt a lot of the more Irish commentators and commentators in general will be more enlightened on this issue and can talk about the impacts a bit more. But this is just so stupid from the English government. But what have they done that honestly you can say has been intelligent and makes sense? Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.